Welcome to the Heart and Soul Podcast, a space where words, people, and stories matter. I'm so happy you're here, especially tonight. We are in the Heart and Soul on the Road room, where we are going to meet a collective of caring individuals from across the United States who are making a significant impact on the lives of a U.S. Army veteran and his wife here in Western New York. And they are all connected through a national nonprofit organization called A Soldier's Journey Home. Let me give you a little background about this organization. In the wake of September 11th, 2001, a number of firefighters from the Fire Department of New York were looking for ways to support the country. They began volunteering at locations hit hard by disasters, including floods and tornadoes, and helping to rebuild those communities. After working with like-minded first responders in a number of locations, in 2014, they formed A Soldier's Journey Home. Since then, the nonprofit has built 11 homes, 2 in Georgia, 2 in Tennessee, and then in Illinois, Texas, Ohio, Maine, Kentucky, North Carolina, and Louisiana, with current and retired firefighters, veterans, and other volunteers from more than 23 states, giving time away from their family and work to build a dream home for a worthy veteran recipient. They then galvanize the local community in which they've identified a veteran with disabilities in need and build a specially adapted, mortgage-free home for that veteran, giving back for the sacrifices they and their families have made on behalf of our grateful nation. This week and next, they are in West Falls, a village outside of East Aurora, New York. And they are creating a home for veteran Nathan Kalwicki and his wife, Veronica. Before I welcome tonight's guests, here are your 3 questions for tonight. Number 1, you are going to meet 3 volunteers who have left their home and their families to come to Western New York and build this house. What would you like to ask them about that experience? Number 2, do you have a question about how this home will be specially adapted for our veterans' needs? And number 3, are you interested in knowing how someone with or without construction skills can get involved with this organization? Please consider those questions and any others you may have for our 5 guests tonight, and feel free to turn on your mics and ask away at any point. Otherwise, if you'll please stay on mute, so if you sneeze or the dog barks, it doesn't interrupt our podcast. Now, let's get started. Our first guest tonight is John Capretta. He is a Columbus, Ohio firefighter who joined A Soldier's Journey Home, or ASJH, in 2020 and volunteers as a logistics lead on these projects. What that means is he coordinates supply runs for every bit of material and product needed to build an entire house in 2 weeks. 2 weeks. While that sounds like a stressful job to me, one of ASJA's board members describes John as having a gentle and quiet nature, which he brings to every home build they undertake. Welcome, John.
Thank you, Christine.
You're welcome. Could you please share with our audience how you became involved in A Soldier's Journey Home and what life or professional experiences prepared you for this work?
Yeah, so back in 2019, I met up with the guys from New York, Patty and Brian Fitzpatrick, who's currently our president of our organization. They told me the whole story about what they do. I was amazed. I loved it. My wife and I jumped in with both feet, and we got going. We built a home for 10 children and 2 adults, and it was a wonderful build. And it was calling for us, and they found me, and I felt like this is something that my wife and I needed at that time of our life, and we continued on with them. And it's been just an incredible journey. So, and the other part of your question is what? I'm sorry, what was the other?
Professional experiences prepared you for this job.
Being a firefighter in Columbus, I've got 29 years experience there. I've been a paramedic. I'm on the heavy rescue now. So taking runs, we have an idea of what's going on when we're getting there, but things change drastically on the run. So we have to be adapt, and we overcome everything that we do. And we use our resources that we have and how our training to adapt to every different call. So that's how I feel that I treat, and the firefighters that we have, the firemen are so great at this job where they learn to adapt to the weather, the late schedules, the lack of sleep because we're working late days, the hard work. That's all part of being a firefighter, and that's what we do so well at.
And that leads me into my next question for you, John. Well done. Building projects are never smooth.
No,
Material delays, building permit issues, weather conditions, as you noted. As the person responsible for making sure all the materials and products are on site exactly when and where and how everybody needs them, I understand that's how firefighters, manage in their stressful jobs of taking care of people in tragic situations and when their houses are burning and things like that. But in something like this, where you have 2 weeks to get this house built for a veteran and you've made this public pledge, everyone knows about it. How do
right.
you manage the challenges that come up in a project like this?
Well, Christina, really the logistics team start back in September. Well, we get to meet Nathan and Veronica, and we come in and we start going to the neighborhoods in Western New York, and we started meeting people and networking with people.
So you were
Um,
here back in last fall?
yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. And we got to meet Nathan, fell in love with Veronica and Nathan and their whole story. His mom and dad, his brother, hold the whole story. And so that drives us even more when we get to know him, that we have to get this done for this man. Him and Veronica are now part of our family.
Uh,
So, so we, so we start back then making contacts and making relationships with the people in the community. And then and there's nothing over the phone, it's face to face. We
yes.
have to make face to face contact. So, and to tell them our story, and then they buy into the story, they love it, just like I loved it. And so we start doing this, and we have a large team. Now, I just do the site build and everything, but we have guys who deal with the deliveries and everything else on part of the logistic team. So we probably have approximately 15 guys on the logistic team that really, really do a good job. So we delegate everyone stays in their lane and do their own job. And that's how we get it done.
Staying in the lane sounds like it's crucial in this job to
It's
me.
very crucial. You don't step on anyone's toes because we all have a job. And in the fire service, it's the same way. We're fighting fires. Each company, the engines, the ladders, and the rescue all have their own jobs to do. And as long as everyone does their job, the mission is completed.
Well, you make it sound like it's very basic, and I'm sure it's not. And I'm sure there's a lot of really strong people who come together to hold true to staying in their lane and getting their job done to the best of their ability, like you. While these projects are expansive, just overwhelming to somebody like me trying to think about what you are doing in such a short period of time, both in scope and in nature, you're working on one of the most important aspects of a person's life, their home. And not just any home, but a place and a space where their lives will be made easier following a traumatic and often tragic injury. Can you talk about the personal nature of these builds?
Yes, like I said before, that's why we go and make a personal contact with Nathan and Veronica, and their family. We fall in love with them and their stories, and we want to make them like it would be no different than me building a home for my brother or my father. So that part is we are bought in on his story, no different than the community is bought in on our story. So um, I the thing I like to say is we're just trying to give a little bit of comfort to those who provide freedom.
Mm. Wow,
So
that's a very powerful statement right there, John. Thank you.
he has provided freedom for us to do what we do in this world today. And if I can give him a chance to relax and lay, just sit down with his wife and watch a show and be comfortable and be able to move within his house, I am fully satisfied. In fact, the day that we went out to dinner with Nathan, he was telling us how much he appreciated it. And I said, "Stop, Nathan. We understand how much you appreciate it. This is my seventh build with my wife. And if I didn't know how much you appreciate it, I wouldn't be doing it. And I get more out of this than you do. You get a materialistic home. I get the joy of knowing that I created some comfort for you."
Joy, that's a big word, big word. Okay, last question. To the
Yes, ma'am.
best of your recall, what has been the most extraordinary experience in building these houses?
Well, this one has been probably the most emotional one for me. Unfortunately, I lost my wife March 19th to a disease. And And when we do these builds, we always let the recipient sign a piece of wood with him and his wife, and they get to nail it inside one of their rooms. And I was telling Nathan, I've never put a nail in any home in the 7 homes I've built. I've just
Wow.
logistics. And Nathan was kind enough, him and Veronica were kind enough to include me in this ceremony where we put our name. So I put my wife's name.
And it was a beautiful, for anyone who goes to Facebook, A Soldier's Journey
Yes,
Home has a video of that. I also took it and posted across all my social media, and they wrote their own names. And then D is your wife's name, and they wrote D's
correct.
name, but they also put MAMA, Mama, because she has become known as the mama of these builds, and they beloved before that.
Yes.
John,
She
thank
loved
you.
everyone on here and she treated them like they were her children, and she was very giving. And
Thank you so
I
much.
really thank Nathan for what him and Veronica for allowing me to participate. This build will be has been definitely my most special build.
Well, thank you so much, first of all, for joining us tonight, but then also for sharing your story, because it's a wonderful tribute to your wife. And
Yes.
we are grateful for you sharing your memory of her with us. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Christine.
You're welcome. So if anyone has a question at the end, at the end of each interview, because we have 5 guests tonight, I'm going to open it up. If anybody has a question for John, this is the time to unmute and come on and ask him. And I know he'd be happy to talk to you about any part of this build or his life or his experiences as a firefighter or anything. So please feel free. This is the time.
Thank you.
No problem. Anybody? Not one part. Come on, people. You know better than that.
Christina,
Yes.
it's
Thank you,
Kathy.
Kathy
Hi.
Donahue.
Yeah,
Yay.
yeah. Hi. I'd like to ask John, what goes into actually planning the home? Who do you get to design the home to fit the needs of the veteran and his wife?
And I wish I could tell you that's going to be more of a Dylan story for you because he's in part of the build side, and I'm just
And
a little
Dylan's
further
up next,
behind.
so we can ask that
Oh,
question.
Yes.
okay.
You can ask him, but is
I,
there any
I
part of that question, John, you want to answer?
Yes. So my job is to make sure that we have the storage trailers, like the 40-foot storage trailers, the 20-foot Connex boxes. We get porta johns for 100 people, wash stations. We have tents for the kitchen, refrigerated trailers for the kitchen.
Wow.
We get all the machinery. United Rentals have been an unbelievable sponsor for us. They donate the trailers, the office trailers. So I always said the house is like the heart, and we have the brain over here trying to run the system. But that Dylan will tell you how we get the heart going.
Okay. And John, would you, the other thing I'm wondering about, the people that come to do the build,
Yes, ma'am.
and where do they stay? Do they have, do people take them in and offer their homes, and how does that work?
So that's part of the logistics, and that's why we start back in September. Um, we go to the local hotels and find out who could house over 100 people for 2.5 weeks. And we found one here in Hamburg, and they've been absolutely fantastic. It's the Holiday Inn Express in Hamburg.
Oh, great,
So
great.
people plug the Holiday Inn Express because they've been a great partner in this project, and we want to support the people in our community that are supporting this project. Kathy, thank you for your questions. I'm always grateful for your part. John, I just want to thank you again for joining the Heart and Soul podcast and for all you do to make a difference in the lives of those who have served our nation. So thank you.
Christina, thank you for having me.
So Dylan and Brooklyn Williamson, they are a husband and wife who have traveled from Michigan to help build this home for Nathan and Veronica. What's interesting about their part in this project is that they were dating in 2019 when they first became involved with the Soldier's Journey Home. Brooklyn's father came home from working on a project like this and told them they should get involved and pay attention to it, and they did, and they were dating at the time, and during their working on these projects, they became engaged. And in 2021, they married, and ASJH team members had become family by then and attended their wedding. Brooklyn and Dylan are now the youngest members of the team. So welcome to Heart and Soul, Brooklyn and Dylan. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Thank you for having us.
You're welcome. Dylan, I'd like to start with you if that's okay. Your job is as a construction lead on these projects. Can you give us a thumbnail of what that means?
Yes, ma'am. So, my job and the other construction leads, we start a few months before the build actually starts, and our job is to come in and find local contractors and vendors that we can work with on the build. Qualified contractors that are going to be able to work with us on our strict timeline and make everything happen smoothly. And then fast forward to when we actually get to the build site. My day to day is I could be anywhere from up on the roof and framing and working with the guys, or just kind of traveling around the job site to make sure that all the contractors have all the information and the materials that they need as they come on site, making sure that those end up in the hands of the people that need them so they can get their job done quickly and efficiently, move on to the next stage.
Dylan, I want to ask that when you when you came to Western New York, because we are very proud of our community and the people who work here and live here and play here, how have you found the search for contractors and reliable people to help on this project from our community?
It's been great. I mean, we've had a lot of outstanding people come up and really help us and pointing us in the right direction to finding those people and the right people to use. And everyone's pretty much welcomed us with open arms, and so we've really had good luck with all the contractors that we've had so far, and getting everything that we've needed.
I'm glad to hear that. Can you tell me, what are the challenges of arriving in a new community where you really don't know anybody? You make contacts as quickly and as efficiently as you can. But you're working also with volunteers from across the country who come to work on this, and then having to quickly merge them all and become one team that builds a house in 2 weeks. How does that even begin to happen?
Yeah, sure. That obviously poses its own challenges, and like you said earlier, we've been all over the country. So whether you're building in Georgia or Louisiana, you're kind of building a completely different house really than what you would build up here in New York or in Maine or something like that, just because of the climate. So dealing with those challenges, as well as just getting everybody to be on the same page as far as the way they build and the way they do things. So just communicating and attacking these problems early on. Like I said, we start this early on, several months ago, and so to make sure we're all on the same page and that the expectations are clear once we're here and start this house.
Okay, you're a little bit like John. You make this sound like it all goes smooth and easy. I can't imagine that there aren't challenges that you meet, right?
No, there's certainly challenges that come up, but I think every year, we're evolving, and we learn from our mistakes, and we just try and make the most of it and figure out how we can prevent that in the future, and really make this a good time. This is everybody coming from all over the country. This is for a lot of us, it's the only time in the year that we get to see each other, and we all really look forward to that. And so if we make the job go smooth, and we can get back to the hotel and hang out with everybody and just really enjoy our time together. And
so I would say, based on what you're saying, there are people who consistently return to these jobs regardless of where they are, these builds.
Yeah, we have a main body of volunteers that we repeatedly see year after year, and we pick up new people every year. And some people aren't able to come every year because of the location and travel or whatever life. But yeah, we have I don't know, if I had to guess, probably 3/4 or so, or even more, 80% of our volunteers are repeat volunteers year after year.
That's amazing. That just proves to me that what you do is meaningful and doable, manageable for people, and that it means enough to them that they want to keep coming back. Thanks for that information. Brooklyn.
Hi.
You are someone who does something that I could never do. You are the treasurer for A Soldier's Journey Home. I am not a money person at all. So you are the person who handles all the day-to-day financial issues and concerns, but then When it's time for a build, you're on site. You work with the contractors and suppliers who need the payouts. You work with the volunteers who need reimbursements. You verify receipts, handle the hotel rooms, the various expenses, on and on and on. Oh my goodness, I would have such a headache. With a project like this, where volunteerism and donations are the public face of your projects, but budgets and money are the blood life of getting these houses built. How do you keep the balance, not only on the balance sheet, but during the builds of all the different moving parts and in your personal life, working with your husband that's connected to the whole thing? That's just a big ball of wax right there, girl.
Yeah, it can be a lot at times, but a lot of organization and communication between the building side team, and then the logistics team John and I are a part of. It's a huge aspect of communicating and always staying in touch and knowing what's going on. Then, of course, before, during, and after the builds, it can be very, very hectic throughout the year for me as we continue going through all of the things, getting prepared for what's to come, what's next. But knowing I get to see my Soldier Journey Home family, the volunteers, and what we're really coming together for is what keeps us coming back in there.
Okay, again, along with Dylan and John, sounds like rainbows and unicorns here. There's
Yeah.
got to be, I mean, especially for me, I would think, having a family member. We just finished, Brian Whitman, who's going to be on in a little while, hired myself and my daughter and my granddaughter to work a big event he just had. And we love each other dearly, just as I'm sure you and Dylan love each other. But, you know, there are moments in working together where it's just like, okay, I'm not your mother here. I'm your cohort here, right? So you have to have those moments, or maybe not. Maybe it is that different an experience.
Yeah, I would say we can have those moments. He might not have a great day up at the build site. Something might not go perfect, but that's just part of it. He's a contractor at home too, so I get those days. I get it. So I'm used to it. We just move on, communicate from there, and knowing that we're both part of something bigger is what keeps our cup full and keeps us striving toward the end goal of providing the house for the veteran.
Nice answer. Very well done. All right, for both of you. Ready? When this home is finished and you head back to Michigan, right? Do I have Michigan? Yeah, okay. What memories do you think you'll carry with you?
I mean, for me, it's just the impact that we're making for Nathan and Veronica and his family. I mean, seeing the reaction, and when we get to the ceremony at the end and stuff like that, and just seeing and knowing that we've done good and changed their lives for the better, and I mean, that's what really makes it worth it.
Yeah, each community really leaves a mark on us in a different way. You gain new family members at each build. So just connecting with everyone and knowing that these memories are going to continue for years to come and these relationships will continue and get bigger is the best.
Do you have any feel at this point? I know you're about halfway through, almost through your first full week. Do I have that right? Do you have any feel yet, or have you gotten any response from people from our community that have decided they want to join you in the next build?
I think we've met some great people that for sure will be coming with us next year.
That's awesome. I'm so proud of Western New York. We have a great community, and so I'm glad that you're finding it the same.
Absolutely. We're very thankful for you all.
Oh, thanks. That's very kind. Okay, everybody. This is now the time when if you've got questions for Brittany and Dylan, please unmute and ask them. They're adorable. You need to talk to them. Don't leave them without any questions. Come on, guys.
Did I unmute myself?
You
or
did,
no?
Sylvia.
Oh, you knew I'd ask
I knew
something.
you'd have Sylvia, Dylan, and Brooklyn. Sylvia's from California.
But I'm born and raised in Western New York, so carry those feelings with me wherever we go. I was curious to know is it a preponderance of husbands and wives, or do you have single people that come? I would think that it would be a strength to be together with your significant other, to be there and do it the same, and maybe easier for that couple than one person by himself doing it. That just struck me as something, how nice these young kids, hanging together, building a house for someone. How huge is that?
Yes, we
Is
have
it-
very different roles. So we see each other at lunch or in passing throughout the day. But it's definitely very fills my heart that my husband's is as important to him as it is to me.
Well, I can see it in your face. So that's just the best.
Yeah,
Nice.
it's definitely nice having that support at the end of the day, and being able to unwind with each other and do that together. And we love doing this together every year. We look forward to it all year long.
And the time must just fly. It sounds like, oh my gosh, I'm away 2.5 weeks, but still, you're probably busy all the time. And then if you have the downtime at night, it's just how good for your relationship. That's kind of what I thought. Sweet.
Definitely.
Thanks for answering.
Sylvia, that was a really kind question. Thank you for that. Anybody
You're
else
welcome.
have a question for Brittany and Dylan before we move on? Okay, then we are going to say thank you to Dylan and Brittany. You got thrown in at the last minute and you were both great. Thank you so much for being part of Heart and Soul tonight.
Thank
Yes,
you.
thank you.
You're off the hook now. So if you are from Western New York, our next guest may be familiar. His name is Brian Whitman. He is a bred and born Hamburg, New York guy. Yay for hometown. Brian is the principal of his own company, the Dry Creek Group, which specializes in a number of services, including PR, marketing strategies, and branding, special events, entertainment, and project management. He also spent nearly 30 years working with the mouse at the Disney Corporation at their world headquarters in Orlando, ultimately serving as their corporate vice president of global special events. Brian is joining us tonight as the leader of a volunteer team of individuals and companies who are collaborating to produce the May 30th Keys Ceremony, where the newly built A Soldier's Journey home house in West Falls will officially be turned over to our Army vet West Falls native, Nathan Kalwicki, and his wife, Veronica. Welcome, Brian, to the Heart and Soul podcast. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Christina. It's great to be here. Thank you for including me.
In full disclosure, Brian and I have known each other for 133 years, and I ended up, he and I met when I wrote the wedding ceremony, the vows and the ceremony for he and his lovely bride, Kathy. So Brian and I have go back a long way and have the same DNA when it comes to events. I don't know. It's just kind of something we share.
I do. We absolutely do. And it makes it real easy for us to work together.
Yes.
We think the same way, which I think is great.
It's scary at times, but yeah, it's great.
Scary, but scary great. Yes.
So, Brian, since planning events is part of your DNA, what about this project appealed to you to such an extent that you volunteered your time and talents and also were able to put together a team of Western New York individuals and companies to produce a memorable key ceremony for Nathan and Veronica?
Well, it didn't start out that way. It started out as I was approached back in December by a dear friend and colleague, Sean Crotty, who's the emergency manager for the town of Hamburg. And he had been approached by a friend of his that's a firefighter in New York City and gave him a heads up that this was coming to our community. So Sean, knowing me as a marketing guy, came to me and said, hey, can you jump on board and help with this group? And they're going to need some marketing support probably. And it's really a great project. And, would you be interested? And I was heading out for a major surgery a week later. And I said, sure, but I'm not sure how I can help because I'm going to be laid up for a while. And one thing led to a next. And next thing I know, I've got 12 of the Soldier's Journey Home team showing up at my rehab facility, all in uniform, kind of demanding a meeting. So I met with this group one afternoon. I got wheeled in a wheelchair, my wife Kathy and I, and I didn't know what I was really getting into. And I tell you, it's after spending, 10, 15 minutes with this group, and you see the passion that these guys have and gals have, and the commitment that they have to this project. I was just so blown away and impressed by all of them. And within minutes, Kathy and I are both just saying, what more can we do to help? What do you need from us? And we're all in. And it started out as just, we have a lot of connections in the community, and we can help provide those connections and provide support and help get volunteers and help with some marketing that they usually have not done a lot of. And I noticed that right away and thought we could help with that. But the ceremony came, a little bit farther down the road when they said kind of the day of the final day of the build, they have a ribbon cutting where they give Nathan and Veronica the keys to the house. And I had spent 30 years at Disney, and we had one rule at Disney that we never, ever, ever were allowed to do a ribbon cutting. It had to be some kind of event, which made it more of a grand style than just a ribbon cutting. So I said, well, if you want me involved, it's not going to be a ribbon cutting. And everyone laughed and giggled a little bit and said, then what's it going to be? And I said, well, I don't know, but I will figure something out. And they said, go for it. So I have figured something out. But with Nathan being on the call and being on our podcast tonight, I can't talk about the details because Nathan doesn't know what they are. So it's a surprise to him.
Kind of like
And,
Christmas. He's got to
it
wait.
is, and that's kind of the fun part. And he knows. He and I have talked a lot about this, so he understands. But when I heard that Nathan and Veronica don't really get to see the final part of the build, and their first time seeing their house is on May 30th for this key ceremony, it just got my wheels spinning, and I quickly rallied up my troop. I have a wonderful group of individuals here in Western New York called the Dry Creek Group that Kathy and I own. And we rallied them together to all volunteer their time. And they all have. And we have come up with a really very special day and for Nathan and Veronica. And I'm not going to tell him about it. So he's going to find out when it all happens on May 30th at 11 a.m. in the morning. The public is invited. It's open to the public. And we're encouraging people to come out and see this and be a part of it. It's going to be something very, very, very special. And it's extremely patriotic, extremely all-American, and really just a beautiful celebration of Nathan and Veronica that I think anyone's going to want to come out and see and be a part of. And
Brian, is it possible? I know you shared the address with the team, but can we share the address of the site?
1185 Falls Road in West Falls, and parking will be at the there's a park located because there's very limited parking right up at the house, but we're gonna have a shuttle running out of the JP and Isley park, which is right next to the Waldorf school.
Well, yeah.
So there's a nice park there. So we're gonna park there, and we have a shuttle bus running in the morning to bring people up. And I'll encourage everyone to please come out and join us. It's going to be a wonderful celebration.
And if you can't, they're going to live stream it, and I'll have the live stream live on my Facebook page. Brian, if you have a chance when we finish talking, if you can find that live stream link and throw it in the chat, do you know how to do that?
I don't know how to do that. I do have it somewhere.
I'll grab it.
Thanks,
And,
Lise. So
it's,
Brian, back to your questions. What is the most challenging part of producing an event like this over and above keeping it secret?
Yeah, and for this one, the biggest challenge is keeping it a secret from Nathan
Right.
and Veronica. That's the biggest challenge. The rest of it is the interesting part of it is it's all taking place outside on a driveway. I mean, so how do you take a driveway and make a stone driveway in a build site magical and make it wonderful? And how do you do all this hoping to God it doesn't rain or we get a lot of wind or it's a bad morning? So it's weather, and it's having the confidence that we can do this on a driveway out in the middle of West Falls that not many people would take that challenge on and feel comfortable doing it in a space like that. We're not in a theater. It's
Right.
not all fancy being at Shays. We're not at Kleinhands. We're not in this beautiful place. We are out on a driveway in West Falls and it's going to be better than anything at Shazer Kleinhans. I can
If
commit.
you do say so yourself.
I
So
do,
Brian,
because the team's great. I've got a great team on this, so yes.
if people don't know you and don't know your verbiage, you use the word magic, and that is totally centered and anchored in the world of Disney, you know, the magical world, the more wonderful world. Is there particular satisfaction in, even though you're retired from there and you're doing your own thing, is there a particular satisfaction to be able to bring your Disney magic to events in your hometown like this?
You know, it really is. I mean, it's you know, obviously it's doing it for Nathan and Veronica. I mean, you know, they're wonderful people, like John said, and I think the others, Brooklyn and Dylan says, well, you know, once you meet Veronica and Nathan, you just can't do enough for them. And you know, if I can be in my team and we can be part of something that's going to give them a wonderful magical memory that they're going to have for the rest of their lives, then we're all in. I mean, definitely all in. And that's why we're doing it, is for that. And I'm happy to take my 30 years at Disney and another, you know, chunk of time before Disney, but to bring all that experience to West Falls and to this community and for them is I'm honored to do it.
Great. Well, for anybody who's interested, this would be the time. If you've got a question for Brian, it can be about this build, it can be about, you know, his other work or anything in the community. Please feel free to come off mute and ask Brian now.
Christina?
Yes, Michelle. Hi, welcome.
I was finally able to get in, and this evening is just so important to me to listen. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you
Oh,
perfectly. You're
great.
not on camera, but that's your choice.
Oh,
You don't
that's
have to
okay.
be.
That's
Okay.
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 So I'm just so thankful for people. I'm over here crying. I can't help it because I just have such a soft heart for veterans, and I'm so grateful for what you do for our country. And anyway, I'm not saying this to pat myself, but I contribute so much every year to our veterans and our wounded warriors and people like that. And you hear about things like this on TV. Like I'll sit and watch things and I'll just start crying because I'm so thankful for people like Brian and your guest just before that. I just caught the tail end of it, but this is God's work, and it's absolutely so beautiful. And I don't have any questions, but Nathan, I'm so excited for you, and you are so well deserving. And I thank you so much for what you contribute to all of us Americans. And this is just going to be wonderful. And I'm planning on coming out there because I just have to be part of it and just to witness it. And Christina, thank you for having this show this evening. It just touches my heart. And thank you so much for what you do. That's all I wanted to say.
Michelle, you've got a heart that is bigger than a pumpkin, so it's easy to touch your heart. And we will be so happy to see you, and we'll make sure that you get to meet Nathan and Veronica in person because they're special and you're special, and it's a special project. So we'll all be special together on May 30th. Thank you for sharing your thoughts. Anyone else want to say anything or talk to Brian for have anything? Just don't want to cut anybody short if you have a question. Okay, well, then it's time. Brian, thank you for all you do. As Michelle said, thank you for making this what is going to be a very special May 30th key ceremony, no doubt. And we will celebrate together. Thank you for your time and everything you give to our community. And Kathy, your lovely wife, who's not in the picture, but certainly is a stalwart in everything you do.
She absolutely is, and we're a great team. So it's our pleasure.
Yep, you fit the profile of everybody who's been on this thing tonight. So thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Nathan. There's nothing more to say. I am happy to welcome to Heart and Soul tonight, Nathan Kelwicki. And Nathan, I don't know, is Veronica with you as well, or are you by yourself?
I'm actually by myself right now.
Okay, well, welcome. Thank you for doing this. I know that I've been watching the videos that A Soldier's Journey Home has put out every day, and every day has been chock full with some beautiful moment and emotional feelings, and you've got to be a little overwhelmed at this point. So I'm really grateful that you're willing to spend some time talking to us tonight. Thank you.
No problem.
You are a combat wounded veteran who lost your leg in Afghanistan when a rogue ANA soldier opened fire on your platoon during a mission. But you have stated that wasn't the moment that you truly broke. And you wrote a moving piece on the website Medium where you described your struggles. And I wondered if you would honor us by reading an excerpt from that essay.
Yeah, I can read it. Yeah, it's all right.
If it's too much, you
I,
don't have to. I mean, it's up to you. I'm not, we sent this to you and it seemed like you're okay with it. And if not, it's not a problem at all.
no, I can read it. I guess maybe could I paraphrase it? Because I don't know if so.
Yes.
Basically, what I was trying to say is, for a while, and this is, I think, a common thing with veterans, in such similar situations is, and many people, it's not just veterans, but when you don't have a purpose, when you lose your purpose in life, things can get difficult. Things can get dark. So I had a purpose when I joined the military, and I just lived day to day doing the job I was there to do with my brothers and sisters. And when I was wounded, that was taken away, like in an instant, and I found myself facing purposelessness. I didn't know what to do. I after I initially recovered from the hospital and my wounds, I I was set up with disability through the military, and I had shelter and I had the basic needs, but I was still not, satisfied with life. I where the words and what I was talking about in the article, I was searching for a way to find purpose, and I came up with the idea like reclaim, rebuild, and repeat. And I don't know if I love that, but the meaning behind it is I had to identify what was in my control and stop focusing on the things that are out of my control, like my missing limbs and the the things that I didn't have control of anymore, and I had to take control of the things I did, which was what I did with my life. Who I spent my time around, and um, how I portrayed myself to others, and what I did in the world. So the rebuild part is just focusing on the mind and the body and the spirit, and um, the repeat part is when I identify what doesn't work or what I want to fix. I just do the same thing again. I try to find what I can control about a certain situation, and I work on fixing it. So that's sort of where that came from. I don't know if I really like the words that I put there, but that's where it came from.
So thank you for all it took to recall all that and then share it with us, because as a writer, I understand how you write something in a moment, and then sometimes when you go back and read it, it doesn't really suit exactly what you feel now, but at the time it was what you were feeling. But I think the idea that you came up with, got to reclaim who you are, rebuild it, and then you've got to repeat those things over and over until you create the new version of your purpose. So I think that you wrote that article, and it was beautifully written, and thank you for explaining it in the way you just did. And I think what I really caught me by the heart was after you talked about the reclaim, rebuild, and repeat, you talked about the resilient band and how that really came forward through all of this in helping you reclaim yourself and find your way back. Tell us a little bit about this band, who's in it and how it got started and why it means so much to you.
Yeah, so the band is called The Resilient. We didn't name ourselves that. Like I didn't come up with that name. It was actually a friend of ours, a civilian, and a very artistic and intelligent guy. We were sitting around we had a band, but we didn't have a name, and we were about to get announced. And they're like, "Hey guys, what's your name?" And we looked at each other, and we were like, and he's like, "You're the Resilient. Get out there." So that's how the name came about. And so I'll go back to the beginning. Where I was wounded, I ended up at Walter Reed in Bethesda, Maryland, and that's where I met four out of the five members of the band. Three of those guys are two other guys are wounded service members as well, and they're more catastrophically wounded than I am. One of them is a double amputee, and one of them's a triple amputee. He's actually our drummer, so he has the most physical job, and he's missing the most limbs. But through the years, we've gotten to know each other, and really we've gotten to really form a tight bond. And basically, the Resilient, and I've embraced that name, and that's sort of what the whole reclaim, rebuild, and repeat is my own way of trying to define what resilience and what the resilient is to me. And it's when you get knocked down, you have to find a way to get back up and keep going. So that was like my attempt at a practical way to do that at the time.
So if I could add to the description, I mean, you gave incredible description of your band members, but as for the band itself, it's not your average garage band. It's a rock and roll band made up, as Nathan said, of wounded combat veterans. But there's one more member that you didn't mention is your brother, which
Yes,
is
my brother. Yep.
Eric. He must be a really nice, I mean, it must be somewhat of a support to you to have him there, right?
Oh, absolutely. He went through some tough times as well when I was wounded. He was a junior in high school, and my parents got pulled away and were focusing on me. So he definitely understands a lot about what the sacrifice of service members are. And it's kind of come full circle where, yeah, he eventually joined the band with me. And there had been a few years where we weren't really close, and he had his own struggles and I was struggling. So it's come full circle where now we're in a band together, and we get to hang out all the time and make music together and do meaningful stuff.
That's awesome. This story just keeps getting better and better. My heart just keeps expanding with every interview. Thank you for sharing that part. But along with Nathan's brother, members of the band have performed with musical greats like Yo-Yo Ma, Sheryl Crow, Aaron Neville, Ricky Skaggs, Kansas City Symphony Orchestra, and they've also appeared on NCIS and the Colbert Report. I mean, this is not just, a bunch of guys getting together and playing some music. Currently, the band is in pre-production for their first full-length album, and are the subjects of a feature-length documentary with the award-winning filmmakers North Productions. And they are also in a feature story about the Resilient Band. CBS News called them that they are performing some of the most important music being made in America. Nathan, tell us how the joy of music coming out of the tragedy of Afghanistan has really changed your life. It's amazing.
Yeah. So for me, it's really about first the bond within the band, and that's really what gives me purpose. Playing music by myself in a room doesn't really do that. So that's sort of the like the spiritual element to me, the connection, the social connection element. That's really what that is.
I can imagine with all the different veterans. And like you said, if you saw the video, and I've put a link to the Resilient website so you can go and check it out and see the band playing. They have lots of videos. They have YouTube channel and all that good stuff. You're all so inspiring and you're good. Music is great. So, what a gift all the way around. So thank you for, explaining all that, the evolution, the roller coaster of coming from your being wounded and now being part of a rock band that gets to play at the San Francisco 49ers halftime show. It's a pretty good gig, right?
Yeah, so I guess I'll add a little bit to it's the that stuff's all great. But what I what there is really kind of become the important thing to me about the band is being realistic and seeing that when we perform, um it's because of the visual and the story behind it. It really it can connect with people. It seems like people that are um I guess um I don't know what it is exactly, but people will come up and share their stories. And you know we that's kind of one of the cool things about when we go places. We hang out and we say hi to people and we get to know them. And it just becomes like, I don't know, a powerful tool to potentially affect people for a positive in a positive way. Um, so that's the this thing we try to do with our shows now is uh, bring people on like a roller coaster ride and tell stories. And we have our own original music that is intentionally written to convey messages, and the overarching theme is then in the name of the band. And it's this universal message that um, us as humans, we all are resilient. And then just sometimes we forget that, or we need um, some help in one way or another to be reminded, or whether that's physical or the the spiritual or something else. But that's kind of what we do and why I like doing it.
Thank you, Nathan. Thank you for your service, for sharing your time with us tonight, and for becoming a living reflection of your life's mission, that we are all resilient. We just need to remember that. So if anybody has questions for Nathan, we've got a couple of minutes left. This hour has flown by, and so many wonderful stories and impressive and inspiring people. So if you have a question for Nathan, please feel free to unmute and ask him. Okay, so I'm going to tell you that Wednesday, or on May 30th, Saturday, at the Westfall Center for the Art, the Resilient Band will be live at 7 o'clock. Tickets are selling quickly. So if you're interested, I am putting a ticket link in the chat. Also, I put a link to the band's YouTube page so you can find them as well. And I just want to make sure that I don't leave anybody with a question to ask. So does anybody have any question or want to make any comment about tonight's podcast or anything? Good. There's the link to the events for the tickets. And a lot of the tickets were sold out already. So if you really do want to go see the band, you might want to hop on the link tonight.
Maybe unmute.
Now, Kathy and Marge, you are not on mute. Do you have a question? Yeah.
No, I don't really have a question. I just want to say how thankful and grateful and incredible I think these people are who are doing what they're doing. And I can't wait to get involved in some way, shape, or form and tell people about it. So I am extremely grateful to you for doing this, but you're not looking for that. But to the people who are doing this work, it's just incredible. And
So, Marge,
I'm
we
glad
started
my
out-
friend brought me in.
Yeah, well, we started out by talking about the fact that, anybody can get involved. So in the chat, I have a
Yes,
link to their
yes.
website. So you can certainly go on there.
Yep.
I don't know when you came on because I've been paying attention to other things, but the May 30th celebration is open to the public. So if you want to come
I
out.
think I want to come. I
All
think
right,
Kathy
Marge,
and I both
we
want
put
to
the
come.
address
We might
in
see
the
you there.
chat as well. So
Yep, I
grab
got
that
it.
to come out. And, I'm happy to, show you around. I'll be there, and anybody who's on the podcast, just come up, say, hey, I want to meet somebody or whatever.
Yep.
And I'll make those introductions and come on, let's get involved. Western New York
I
is.
do. I love this. I think it's a wonderful, wonderful organization. Thanks for doing this. I'm inspired.
Yay, that's awesome. Well, 5 people on this podcast tonight are all inspiring. I don't care who you are. You can't,
Yeah,
you
right.
can't have sat here tonight and not be inspired. Okay, anybody else have anything they want to add? We are 1 minute over our time, which is fine because this was a worthy cause to talk about everybody and give them their time.
Not a question, but just the link to the live stream is in the chat as well. And just a thank you to everybody that's been involved in this project. And I'm thrilled that I get to be there too.
Yeah, again, thank you, Brian, because as I said, he brought my daughter, Lisa Apt, who just spoke, and her daughter, Ella, my granddaughter, and I in to work on a project at graduation a couple of weeks ago, and he has again included us in this key ceremony. So we will be working again, and I feel like everyone tonight talked about family. And how they feel like their family. And I will be thrilled to have my family be part of this and that we all get to participate in our community to help not only the veteran, but this Soldier's Journey Home group as well. So
Could I add one thing to
thank you. Yes, Nathan, please.
So I just wanted to, say that like I appreciate you having me on and having a Soldier's Journey on and all the stuff that I've, done with my band and playing with whatever famous people or doing these shows. This organization is Soldier's Journey Home, and the people I've met, and I've met a lot of them, and I've heard a lot of their stories, and they're some of the coolest and best people. It was said, I think the first day or the first official day, they had a little ceremony. It's really a representation of just some of the best Americans and really what this country it should be about, So I just want to say thank you again to them.
Thank you, Nathan, for just summing up this whole hour for all of us in a way that was very eloquent and heartfelt. Thank you for that. Okay, everybody, I'm worn out. I'm exhausted. This has been a big emotional night. So thank you all for coming tonight. Thank you to our 5 guests for being part of this. And I hope tonight, when we do these Heart and Soul podcasts, I made them a Zoom because I wanted them to be interactive. I didn't want you sitting there looking at me talking. I wanted us to remember what it's like to connect and talk to each other. And clearly we've done that tonight. And clearly that is the whole Soldier's Journey Home process, because every one of our guests tonight spoke to that. And I think everyone who heard them tonight felt that same kind of emotion. So please feel free to come out to the key ceremony on the 30th of May and look for social media. We've got lots of articles on the Soldier's Journey Home, different social media sites, and on mine. And just celebrate this wonderful event happening in our community. As Brian would say, it's magical. It is pretty magical. So thank you, everyone. Thank you for coming tonight. I hope what you heard tonight stays with you, inspires you in some way, and encourages you to come back again to the Heart and Soul podcast, a place where words, people, and stories matter. Talk soon. Good night, everyone. Happy Memorial Day.
Thank you, Christine.
Thank you, Sylvia. Good night.
Night.
Good night. Thank you so much.
See you on the 30th, Michelle.
Thanks, Christina.
Yeah, Kat, thank you.
Thank
Good night.
you.
Good night, everybody. Thanks, Chris. I know you don't want to go. I feel the same way, but
Night.